Greetings, Skill Incarnate bringing you all the latest indie gaming goodness. Welcome back as we check out another indie game. This time we're looking at Frostpunk 2. Frostpunk is one of those games that leaves an indelible mark on you, a memory long after the ending credits roll. The deep lore, fascinating story, the challenge of building the last haven of mankind with decisions that have real weight and consequence. All of these mold together to make an unforgettable experience. Frostpunk is one of the games that ignited my love for city builders, and one of my most popular reviews of all time. So, when 11-Bit Studios reached out for me to cover the sequel, I was ecstatic. So ecstatic that this review is now late because I couldn't stop playing the game, which is the highest praise I can give. Now, I have been doing a lot of study, a lot of playing the game and learning the mechanics so I can show you the first part of the campaign. I'm going to show you some of the tips and tricks to help you survive the frozen apocalypse as we delve into the fascinating world of Frostpunk. The story of Frostpunk 2 takes place approximately 30 years after the conclusion of the first game. The Overseer, who we played as in Frostpunk, has just died. We are his successor, inheriting a new London in deep, deep trouble. 30 years of civil strife, political violence, and rough weather conditions have turned New London into a shadow of its former self. Our goal is to rebuild the city, earn the people's trust, and give humankind a fighting chance. Now, a number of things have changed since the first Frostpunk. There are a number of new factions in the game. We are no longer the ruling power in New London. We need to work around the various factions which have cropped up over the past 30 years. Now, each of these factions have their own likes, dislikes, and political agendas, and some of their agendas don't align. And this is where you end up trying to please these different factions, keep them happy, because if you don't, it's a very quick path to you getting deposed. Now, we're going to go into detail about the factions later. You can see at the bottom of the screen, we have the different factions, their percentage of the citizens, and also their opinion of you at the moment. So at the moment, they're lukewarm. They're not really feeling strongly for or against me. We're going to have to work on gaining their trust. Next, we have some resources, and there are a couple of new ones in addition to the first game. The first is the heat stamp. Now, this is a universal currency. It's used for virtually everything we do in the city. From research projects to building and upgrades, all of this requires heat stamps. And these are gained by taxing the citizens and also completing special tasks for the factions. Next, we have prefabs, and these are your universal building materials. It's used for constructing anything. And we're going to need a lot of these. We've got a fair supply. These are going to get burned up real quick. Next, we have the cores, and like the first game, these are very rare materials, the rarest in the game. We find them by scavenging our way across Frostland and finding various machinery. These are something that was in the old world before the Great Frost, and something we can only loot. We cannot build these yet. We've got houses, and this of course is a very, very important thing. A night outside in the snow in Frostland is a death sentence, so we're going to need to get some houses up before we worry about anything else. Food, not too bad. 30 years of surplus have given us a little bit of extra food we can use. And finally, we've got our building materials. These are a universal resource that we can use. We can use them for building the prefabs or luxury goods. Luxury goods is a really handy material. It keeps the citizens happy, but it is not as critical as some of the other more rare resources. But we'll worry about this later. Okay, so moving on to the building, and this is another thing which has changed since the first Frostpunk. we no longer build individual buildings. So we now build districts. And districts are a cluster or a collection of buildings that we can expand, we can upgrade. And while I did like the option to be able to build individual buildings, this is starting to grow on me. It adds an additional layer of complexity to the building, and you do have to plan ahead. So yeah, this is something that we're going to have a bit of a look at in more detail shortly. We're going to start off with some houses, and as you can see, location is key. Something that hasn't changed from the first game. So we're going to build these houses in this natural depression here. This is where it's nice and warm. And I'm going to leave a bit of a gap here, and you may wonder why. You're going to find out soon. Very nice. Now, why am I leaving a gap here? Well, you are going to find out. What I'm going to do, though, is I'm going to build that away. Beautiful. So that's the first set of houses. We're going to need to expand, and this is where we have the next thing in the game we're going to need to get used to, which is frost breaking. Now, over the last 30 years, the ground has become very brittle and unable to be built upon. The only buildable area is around the generator itself, because the warmth of the generator has kept the land soft and fertile. But we have constructed these heavy machines which will allow us to build outward from the generator, tilling the soil and making it usable for construction. Now, we at the moment, we really need some coal. We've got no coal. We've got a couple of coal veins here we're going to frost break out to, so I'm tilling the ground, breaking it up to get to this first vein of coal, like so. Boom, boom, boom. And then I'm going to set up a second set of frost breaking once this is done. So I can't do anything yet. We need to till that land, and I can expand out from there. Now, the next thing I'm going to need to do is to expand this area, because we're going to need more houses. We need 2 housing districts. So let's do that. Again, this game is all about thinking ahead. You want to make sure that you've always got a set of houses ready to go. You've always got a set of land that is pre-prepared, because if you don't think ahead, you are going to have no chance of survival. Can tilt this way. That's pretty good, I reckon. Beautiful. Now you may wonder why I'm keeping a bit of range away from the mines. Much like the first Frostpunk, you want to try and keep your housing and agricultural districts away from any sort of industrial work, whether that's mining, whether that is a sawmill, whether that is construction of any sort. The pollution from the work, particularly the mining, will cause your citizens to become sick. So we've got a bit of a gap between the housing and the mining operation. If I really have to expand, I'll probably go this way, or I can build a set of houses over here. Now the next thing I'm going to do is to build myself a hub. And that hub is going to go right here, because it's going to cover all my houses. Beautiful. So much like the first game, the hubs provide an additional layer of heat, and they are far more efficient than powering up the generator. I think these hubs are a fantastic resource in the game, and one change from the first game, hubs don't cost additional coal. They do cost additional workforce, but I'm willing to take the hit because coal is very scarce. Okay, so now we've got the ability to frost break to the other set of coal here. Boom, boom, boom. And I'm going to also frost break this section here because I want to be able to expand my operation. May do it over here. Actually, no, we're going to do it here. Beautiful. Now, each district in the game can be expanded. And we're going to do that now by expanding the housing district in this location. Beautiful. Now, this is something that you always want to be planning ahead in the game. Plan, plan, plan. Don't build when you need it, build it before. Next thing I'm going to do is build my extraction district. We want coal, and we want it right now. Beautiful. Okay, next thing on the chopping block is to build a extraction district for building supplies. Yeah. Let's get those. Because we're going to need... let's maybe hold off on that. I'm just thinking a better use of our time will be to get these prefabs. I'm sorry, not get the prefabs. We want to get the universal materials. You can see here we've got a bit of a stockpile here, so... Looking good, looking good. We'll worry about food later, but I'm trying to work on the most critical problems, which is warmth and housing. Beautiful. So we've got a set of houses now, and you can see the homeless population has gone down. And I want to get another housing district up straight away. Beautiful. So that's the second housing district. Again, we're leaving a bit of a gap between the houses and the industrial area, making sure the people aren't going to be breathing in fumes, getting sick. Okay, we're cooking with gas. Now we can actually expand again. Let's do that. Now you can see money's starting to get a bit scarce, so I'm getting a bit worried. And the people are getting stressed. But... boom. So we've now got our coal, a very nice surplus, and we can now go to the generator and finally turn that bad boy on. Life-giving heat. Now, of course, I'm going to need more than this. We need more extraction. So people are happy, people are grateful. Housing districts are on the way. We won't have homeless people any longer. And we've finally got a mine. Now, of course, this is not going to be enough, so I'm going to expand. You can see we've got a little bit of a surplus. This is not enough. You always want to have everything in the green. You want to be getting more resources than you need. Good luck, Steward. Good work, Steward. We have secured a new coal deposit. It is part of the last vein in New London. There are some deposits left, but they won't last for long. We need to improve our mining to use it efficiently, but the city communities are voicing different ideas on how to do it. We need to decide which ideas are worth pursuing. Okay, so the next thing we need to do is... Oh, we'll see what's going on here. A child is born. People gather around the generator tower as it wakes with a thundering shudder and bestows heat on us again. This is the heart of the city, our last line of defense against the cold. Our first hope for a future, any future. There's a couple who says their first child, a daughter, was born at the exact moment the generator sprang to life. They called her Lily May. They ask that you bless her. You gave us hope back. Thanks to you, our child may yet have a future. May your life be warm and winds spare your path. Well, no pressure. We've now got another life resting in the palm of my hand. Again, we are really hurting for money right now. You've got more people who are homeless. I'm going to do something about that. May just build over here. Okay, beautiful. So this sort of get our shelter into the green. Beautiful. Okay, so the next thing we need to do is to build a research institute. And thankfully, by expanding our housing district, we can now... we are now out of heat stamps. We've nearly got enough, but here's where I can call upon the community and hit them up for a bit of cash. Now, you don't want to be doing this all the time because you do take a hit to your reputation, but something I'm willing to do. Given the very dire situation we're in, we need the money. We don't have a choice. Now, it's going to hurt my reputation with them a bit, but we want to get this research institute up and running right now. Okay, so the research institute is building, the mine is building. I really want to build down here, so we're going to build an extraction district and we're going to bust these out. I'm wondering if I should do this or fabrication. Let's get the prefabs first. If I run out of these, I can't build anything. That sounds like a more pressing issue right now. Okay. So we can speed time up a little bit. You can see even with all the houses, we still don't have enough. I'm going to expand once more. Oh, this is not good. We've literally run out of space. Okay, we'll frost break some more space. We've only got 3 people that are homeless. We can expand the district once more, and that will fix the housing problem. small crowd gathers outside the new research institute, arguing how to exploit the last coal veins. The stalwarts and New Londoners want us to lean on machine-powered mining, but the Frostlanders will have us pursue a more frugal solution. So now we have access to the research tree, and our first priority is a coal mine. Now the game adds a bit more depth to the research, because not only do we have several different research projects, those projects are tied to the different factions, and taking a research tree, a area in the research tree will gain you favour with one faction, but it may have you lose favour with the others. So sometimes you have to be a little bit political about which option you choose. I tend to favour the Frostlanders because they have a sustainable way of survival using the least amount of resources, and also the least footprint on cost in terms of disease. All of their projects keep humanity in mind. They are all centered around efficiently living through the apocalypse, and they kind of align with the way I play the game, so I tend to lean towards the Frostlanders. So we are going to go with their research idea, which is the dust coal mine. It's a efficient mine which uses the least amount of resources, but is very clean. No explosives, no heavy machinery. It's clean, it's safe, relatively safe as a mine in a game can be. So we're going well. And you can see here that people are getting sick. It's simply because that house, we need to get people out of the cold. So in a couple of seconds I'll be able to do that. Beautiful. Let's upgrade. And that should help with the housing situation. Now I can't expand any further this way. I'm going to have to build on this side of the canyon next, but this sort of get us out of trouble. Okay, excellent. So we now got an extraction district, which is gathering the prefabs that we need. And this is going to, you can see already we've used over half our prefabs. We need to do something about the food next, but let's... We're really low on heat stamps, so as much as I hate to do it, I'm gonna have to ask for some money. And you kind of have to do this at the start of the game. There's simply not enough money to go around. Excellent. Got shelter in the green, so now we just have to worry about these two other resource types. So let's do something about the food situation.
Remember to keep your heat lamp maintained. It might just save your life.
So now we're building a farm over here. Of course, one's not going to be enough. And you can see here too that some sick people, and there's the risk of sickness is drastically reduced because everybody's warm and everybody's housed. Looking good, looking good. Now, there's some other things I want to build. In this case, we want another extraction district here, because I really want to get these building materials up and going. Beautiful. And then what I also want to build is a resource hub. So this is something that is really critical. It's going to allow us to stockpile resources efficiently. And it's also going to reduce the amount of workers we need in the area. Beauty. Here we go. So you can see I put the hub right next to the two mines. They're both going to benefit from having a hub where they can drop off the resources. And that means we're going to need less workers. You can already see the number of workers we've got just really bottoming out. Admiring the generator. It's good to have you back, old chap. It was a terrible fright to have you switched off. You're more than just a heat source to us, you know. You're a symbol of what we should be. Unbending, unyielding fortitude. May we all stand so bold against the frost. The generator is revered and respected by the stalwarts. So you can see that things are humming along well. We've got the hub going up. Money is getting a bit short. And once this research completes, we'll be able to build the new mine and stockpile even more coal. Looking good, looking good. Now we've got our farm going. I can expand upon this. I'm not going to yet, because heat stamps, they're getting really scarce. And in a few seconds we'll be able to build a coal mine. Let's speed things up a bit. Beautiful. Okay, so now what we can do is construct the coal mine in the coal district. Boom. Now I can build a coal mine over here as well, but I don't want to go overboard. Especially just given the amount of resources we're burning through. We've pretty much taken care of most of what we need in the city. We are draining some resources, but I can expand here. What we're going to do next is I'm going to pursue a research project which will allow us to, because what I tend to do is look at what resources we're hurting for, and I'll tailor my research around that. So the next thing we can do is we can build sawmills, which will allow us to, wow, get a lot of materials. That's going to be fantastic. Let's do that. No one wants this idea. I don't care. We need it because I say we need it. Looking good, looking good. Now money, of course, we're really hurting for. I don't want to go back to these factions again. You want to try and make sure you don't over extend your requests, because too many requests for money from them, you will do irrevocable damage to your reputation to them. You want to try and at least keep them in neutral. Okay, so with the new mine, the impending doom of depleting coal is postponed. The weakening captain wanted to establish a council to settle them. He didn't live to see it. It falls to you, the people of New London, want a say in how it's run. Now, while I would prefer to have a more dictatorship, because, I mean, I know best. Daddy Skill knows how to run a city. I've had plenty of experience. But we do have to give these guys a bit of a say in how things are going to run. And unfortunately, that means I need to build myself a council. So let's do that next. We need 80 heat stamps. I don't have money. There's actually one more faction I haven't hit up for cash. I hate doing this, but we need the money. We needed something desperate.
Beware of frostbite. Keep your face and ears covered.
Okay, so the next thing we need to do is, I need a council hall. We build this within the generator. using the funds that we acquired. And the reason why I'm keeping these heat stamps is once this research finishes, because you always want to keep a little bit of money up your sleeve for the next project. You never want to have research idle. And also, once this finishes building, I want to build a sawmill which will fix our materials problem. Then we can address the food. So here we have the council gathering for the first time. Anticipation fills the air as the council opens. The captain ruled with a firm hand, but these times died with him. Now the communities of the city want their say. The stalwarts maintained order on behalf of the captain and adhere to what they claim was his vision for New London: progress, merit, and reason. The New Londoners and Frostlanders clash over our survival strategy, though neither has a firm stance on economic or social issues. Then there are those who view the stalwarts with contempt for their role in New London's history, but they keep to the shadows for now. Based on your handling of the coal crisis, your first decision is to remain in your role as steward. So basically, the council is going to have a vote of confidence or no confidence in my abilities. I'm hoping I have done an adequate job, or I will find myself unemployed and possibly dead very swiftly. So now a special vote needs to happen. The communities of New London have to accept you as their leader. Now we can see that we've got a rather good roll here. We have 20 people for, 74 undecided, and 6 against. So that's not too bad. I could negotiate, but I'm pretty confident that I handled the city reasonably well, and I believe that they will vote for me. Because, I mean, we did pretty good. Although that was very close. That was uncomfortably close. So we've got the vote of confidence. As steward you shall remain. There are challenges ahead. Expanding coal extraction is a great success, but the vein will only last so long. We need to explore the Frostland for a permanent source of fuel.
Into force.
So our next priority is to expand and explore Frostland. Now that I've addressed the immediate concerns of the city, it's time to turn my attention to long-term planning. Now I have about half a year of fuel, but that's going to burn its way out pretty quick. Our goal in the immediate future is to get an expedition going out into the Frostland in search of an alternate source of fuel. Now, I'm going to need to frostbreak my way up to this waypoint here, and that will allow me to build a district to mount an expedition. Now, on the way, there is an iron mine here, so we're going to dig our way out to there. Beautiful. Now while that builds, I'm going to wait for my research on the sawmill to complete. Now we're in a bit of a precarious situation here. I can't ask for any more money. All of the factions in the game are not going to give me any more money, at least for the immediate future. So we need to manage the few little coins we've got here. Now, of course, because of unforeseen circumstances, you never want to spend all of your resources. So we're going to hang on to the money we've got, because I'm also going to need to build that way station here. That's not going to be cheap. Now we have a bit of a surplus, and we can look here, and we can see that the materials are going to run out before my food. So as soon as Sawmill research complete, so we're going to have to build a sawmill. Okay. So I'm going to finish frost breaking out to the way station. Beautiful. We're looking good. We're looking good. So we're going to speed things up a bit. Let the research complete. Beautiful. So we now have the ability to construct a sawmill. If we have a look at the research, we're going to go for something simple again. Due to the limited amount of workforce and resources, I can't really commit to anything too expensive in time or resources. I'm trying to look for quick wins. Now the next really good option for us is asbestos lining. Now, of course, we all know that asbestos has its own set of issues, but at the end of the world, I'm willing to take the hit. If a few people die from asbestos poisoning, it's better than everybody dying from the cold. Now, of course, we've got different factions in the game. I'm trying to keep on board with the Frostlanders just because they make up almost half of the city, and the other factions are very minor. So we're going to get the Frostlanders to research this. 50 heat stamps, that's okay, we've got a little bit of money up our sleeve still. That's a quick win. It means the houses are going to be more heat efficient. And I'm hoping it's not going to be something I have to pay for. We'll see. Maybe it's an upgrade for the house. I can't remember.
Secure additional layers. A cold season is imminent.
Now, much like the first game, there are seasons, and we've now hit one of the colder areas of the year, but thanks to my forward planning, we have quite a meaty stockpile of coal, and we're still in the green. Our stockpile is still going up. Once we hit one of the whiteouts, one of the areas of the year where things get really scarce, that's going to change. So for right now, let's focus on building that sawmill. Beautiful, beautiful. And we're also going to build a... Oh, I don't have enough people. Now, one of the other things you can do, much like the first game, is you can lower the amount of people working in a district. In this case, we've lowered the people working on building prefabs, which is not great, but let's get this logistics district up and running. Now this could be a problem if we run out of prefabs. We're only getting 6 a week, but we're still in the green for prefabs. I still have about 900, which is not bad. And if things get desperate, I can always shuffle my workers back around. As we explore the Frostland, we'll be able to find additional pilgrims that we can send to the city to increase our workforce, but the problem with that is it's also going to increase the strain on us in the need for food.
Give the right of way to frost-breaking teams in transit.
I really enjoy the way that the announcer over the PA will talk about whatever project you're currently working on. So it's like they're complaining about people getting in the way of the frost breaking machines. If you're building a sawmill or if you're building a housing district, sometimes they'll talk about that. It's just that extra layer of immersion. Now, one of the cool things now that we've managed to do is stabilize our materials. With that sawmill, It's got our materials up into the green, which is great. So the only thing we now need to worry about is food. Now, of course, money, very, very scarce right now, so I'm going to try and hang on to my shekels. I can expand the farm. That would be a really cheap way to solve this, but I don't have the workforce. So we're just going to chill and wait for this to be built, and then I'm going to, if there's enough people, I'm going to expand the farming district. Beautiful. We can now survey the frozen lands around New London and find a source of fuel to ensure its future. So what we can do now is send an expedition off. We have a few options here. We can send them over to the makeshift shelters, which will get additional people. The problem is that our economy is so strained right now, additional people may cause more problems than they solve. So we can actually come for those guys later. I'm going to head over here. We actually have a few options here. Now, one of the things you have to be aware of too is different areas that you venture into, they have different threat level. And if you're in a dangerous area, it means you may lose people. So again, it's a balancing act. For right now, I'm going to head over to the safe area. Actually, let's go over here. Yeah. We might be able to get... Oh, a coal mine. Leftover coal. No. We've got to go there. There we go. So this area has a coal mine, so that's a no-brainer. We're going to head over there, see if we can get a stockpile of coal. I mean, oil would be better, but I'll take whatever I can get. Okay, so we're really hurting for people. We don't have enough people. And given... I mean, I really don't want to take people working off the coal mines. I really don't. We're just hurting for people. There's not much I can do. What we'll do is I'll wait until my materials surplus a little bit. Once I fill the stockpile, I'll turn this building off and I'll move the workforce over to the farm. And we're just going to have to do that. We're going to have a balance between the two. Excellent. So we've got another research idea done. Heat dispatch and control center where engineering teams monitor and optimize heating. I mean, that seems really good. No one seems to have any interest in it though. So sometimes, again, you need to balance people's hunger for a technology against the need for it. So I'm going to have a bit of a look and see what else can I make that will help me. I mean, this one looks good. Workers who do not meet their quotas must stay after their shifts to perform machinery and infrastructure maintenance. And that sounds really good because we're always kind of... No one seems to have any interest in it though. I mean, this seems good, like a hospital. We haven't had any injuries though, so let's keep it simple. We're going to go for stuff that lower the heat demand of food districts. So that's... I really want to increase the efficiency. I mean, I'm going to have to go with bio-waste hothouse. We need food. Or we can use chemicals. I'm going to have to go bio waste. They're all good. And this is the thing, when you're sitting in the research tree, you're constantly doing these mental gymnastics, trying to figure out the best way. A salvaging factory, that kind of sounds really good. Yeah, I'm going to have to go with this. Yeah, I'm going to go with a factory. I mean, we really need to do something about our goods. Again, I'm just kind of treading water at the moment. So I'm keeping my money, keeping the resources going. We haven't really managed to do anything about food. That concerns me a little bit, I'm not going to lie. I'm going to... I can't frost break. We don't have enough. Well, what I can do is drop the... Let's just drop this for the moment. I'll frost break in the area, and then I'll turn the district back on. So they'll frost break in this direction. We'll unlock an additional node of food, and I'll also be able to expand this farm. We need to move quick though, because now I'm not producing any prefabs at all. This is the challenge of the game though. It's all one giant balancing act. I'm sitting on a razor's edge. I can only hope the expedition will find what we need. Okay, so what I can do now is expand the food. And this will hopefully stabilize my food deficit. Because apart from luxury goods, I think we've largely stabilized everything. We're not running out of food. We're not running out of building materials. We're not running out of coal. It's just food.
Help us keep you warm. Report all leaks and damages to the nearest maintenance office.
I'm really regretting not doing the hothouse research. Sue Miller, looking for trouble. Cindy's pa went and got herself a governess. Like she's going to be a duchess or something. Not on our watch, we roughed her up. Ferguson boys will learn this too. If they try and wife us again, we'll pull razors and say we'll cut out their eyes. It'll be good fun. So what we want is a proper rumble. Short blades only. Come on, who wants to play? Okay, so it appears due to the rigours of trying to survive, the youth are largely not getting attention and they're going out and they're committing crimes. We need to find a way to get them under control, maybe a way that will help the city. And there's a few different laws that we can address, one of which I'll probably do after we complete this, because if we go to society, we go to youth. I'm not a big fan of liberated youth, young adults encouraged to experiment. I mean, it bolsters the city's workforce, but it decreases heat stamps income. We'll wait. I mean, I'm going to have to pass a law to keep the kids out of trouble soon. And I think that watchtowers would probably be a extreme solution for, it is crime, but it's crime by kids. I think locking them up in the towers probably I mean, it would solve the problem in the short term, but in the long term, that's probably not a smart idea. Just saying. Now, I can build a farm out this way. I'd like to build this way. It makes sense. There we go. I may not have the resources to build another farm here yet, but eventually we'll work our way there. Now all I can do is wait for the research to complete. And we've got the population increasing, which is going to help in some ways. We're going to have additional people to help work, but that also means more mouths to feed, more people to house. A new count has revealed significant growth in our population in recent weeks. Some attribute the rise to an influx of settlers from the Frostland, others to births outnumbering death. Whatever the cause, we have adjusted our calculations of the city's needs to reflect the new numbers. So now we've got more people needing housing, more people needing food. We do have a larger workforce though, so that actually may work in our favour, because now I can do this. Oh, I can't get that on the farm. That's going to have to do for now. Okay, so that will give me a bit of food. And that will solve this problem. We need to build some houses though. Now you can see why I was so frugal with my heat stamps. Because they really are. They're a very, very precious commodity and something that you need to make sure you've always got a few up your sleeve. Because if I didn't have the money to house these people, they're going to freeze. Okay, so now we can do another bit of research. No one seems to be down for that idea, so we can't afford to wait. Now we're really hurting for food, so I think our next project should be hothouses. And I think we'll go with a chemical hothouse. We need the food. Okay, let's speed things up a bit. Our expedition should be reaching their destination soon, and I'm hoping that destination will contain some sort of mine. Okay, what have we found? The jettisoned secondary engine of a dreadnought. Under its hull we found a core. Wow, okay. Yeah. Irreproducible component from before the frost that we can use to power our most advanced technology. Fissures in the ice suggest the dreadnought travelled to the frozen bay a long time ago. Now, while I would love to extract this dreadnought in one piece, we have no cores. And we would get two... I mean, we'll come back. I could potentially get a working dreadnought. Oh, here we go. So a mining complex inhabited by children a long time ago. Over the years, they grew older and became citizens of New London. The last miners were ordered home by the captain, but we know some coal remains in the shaft. The approach trail is in poor condition, but we found a warehouse of the prefabs the captain intended to use to improve it. We could take them or leave them in place if we want to use that mine again. I mean, we need to keep it in place. Yeah. The mining complex inhabited by... We've done it. We found coal. Mining complex once inhabited by children who over many years grew older. Okay, so these guys are citizens of New London. We've actually found an alternate supply of fuel, and quite a hefty amount, because it's actually almost 500,000 coal. Yes. Let's do it. So now what we need to do is to build a trail back to New London. Beautiful. Okay. So now we've actually got a trail going back to London, which will essentially solve our fuel problem. So that is a huge win for us. A huge win.
Do not be alarmed.
Unfortunately, while we were away trying to solve the long-term problems in our colony, we've had a bunch of killed children. 5 children are dead and dozens lay wounded after 2 large youth gangs met for what they call a rumble. Most of the children were armed with knives. The fighting escalated to a full-scale battle. As the parents of the deceased mourn, many insist these children should not have been left unattended. Indeed, many backstreet alleys seem to be uncared for youth. Some areas are beginning to be dangerous even for adults. Okay, we obviously need to fix this problem. Okay, so let's we need to regulate childhood, so let's go and... I mean, I can't do anything yet. We've got the hothouse building. But we absolutely need to do something about that. We can't have, gangs of kids running around stabbing each other with knives. There's no point in me building a future for this city if there's no kids alive left to govern it in the next generation. It astonishes me that human nature, it's the end of the world. I'm trying to solve the problems that are life and death, and back in the city, people just stabbing each other. Excellent, okay. Now, you may not have noticed, but with the additional buildings that we've constructed, finally, everything is in the green. We have shelter, we have food, we have materials, we have coal, and quite a hefty amount of coal, because we're getting it from the mine. So we've done it. We've actually got a alternate supply of coal, and quite a hefty amount. We'll be able to fill up our stockpiles very quickly, and we've averted immediate catastrophe in our city. We've managed to stabilize our resources. We've managed to stabilize our fuel supply, and we've got the city up and running. And that's a pretty good outcome for the first area of Frostpunk. Now, while I would love to continue this video, we've been playing for almost an hour now, and I'm going to have to leave it here. But this is, in my opinion, the gold standard of city building games. If you're going to play one city building game, then Frostpunk is the one you want to try. I cannot recommend this enough, and it's been an incredibly fun, incredibly challenging experience to learn the mechanics of the game. Many hours it took me to get to this point, to where I can reliably keep my city running without everything falling apart. And I hope you enjoyed watching me show you the first part of the game, and hopefully you picked up a few tips and tricks to make your own experience playing the game a little bit easier. I wanted to thank the guys over at Terminals, and I also wanted to thank the developers, 11-Bit Studios. I'm a massive fan of their work. Big thanks to all those guys for the opportunity to showcase this game. Let me know what you think in the comments. Leave me a like, leave me a subscribe. Hopefully you guys can check out this fantastic game for yourself, and hopefully you'll catch me next time when we check out another indie game. Until then, Skill Incarnate, out.